I yield to the ranking member for her opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Jaddou, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for your service. You know, we often hear the majority talk about the need for people to enter the country legally, making it sound like the vicious fight that they have waged against immigrants is solely about the need to come here legally. And yet, for 4 years under Donald Trump and Stephen Miller, Republicans did everything possible to destroy the legal pathways that our country desperately needs, taking away most of the ways that people had to come legally, even to rejoin family members or to fill job offers. They left the agency responsible for this, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, in shambles, needing to be entirely rebuilt. And you and the Biden administration have done just that, rebuild the agency. Director Jaddou, let's review what you inherited from the Trump administration. In 2020, USCIS was broken. Legal immigration slowed to a trickle. And despite a backlog of over 1 million applications, many employment-based visas were going unused. Applications for citizenship were way down and taking over a year to process, and processing delays were rampant and at record high levels. The Trump administration stripped away USCIS's service-oriented mission and eradicated common-sense policies that improve agency efficiency, replacing it with policies designed to destroy the legal immigration system and make it even harder for anyone to apply for a legal pathway. Now, let's be clear, it is no coincidence that more people came to the border when those legal pathways were intentionally destroyed. Despite claiming to be pro-legal immigration from time to time, multiple members of this subcommittee have advocated for stopping all legal immigration to the United States for a period of time, and that's on the other side. This would take us in completely the wrong direction. Countries that have severely restricted immigration have paid the price. As the baby boomer population continues to age and retires, coupled with declining birth rates, America will continue to need more legal immigration. The truth is that we benefit from the contributions of immigrants and their families in every single field of work, whether it is in the dairy industry in Idaho or the home healthcare industry across the country, or yes, even the electric car industry pioneered by an immigrant named Elon Musk, who was undocumented when he launched his company. The U.S. needs and benefits from immigrants. From a purely economic standpoint, immigrants helped us to recover from the pandemic downturn and grow our economy far more quickly than we would have otherwise. Earlier this year, the Congressional Budget Office found that immigrants will add $7 trillion, that's trillion with a T, to the economy over the next 10 years, increase federal tax revenue by $1.2 trillion, and decrease the federal deficit by $900 billion. Americans are rightly frustrated at an outdated, slow, and unfair immigration system. We need a full reform, something that can only be done by Congress and that Republicans time and time again have refused to do. The last time we tried to pass a comprehensive reform of the immigration system in 2013, just imagine that that legislation received 68 bipartisan votes in the United States Senate, 68 bipartisan votes for a comprehensive reform of the immigration system, and yet when it came to the House, Speaker John Boehner on the Republican side refused to bring it to the floor for a vote. Why? Because Republicans knew that it would pass and they didn't want to reform the immigration system. It is quite convenient to have immigrants to scapegoat and blame at every turn. America desperately needs Congress to pass a modernization of our 30-year-old immigration laws, update visa numbers so that they meet the needs of today's economy and families, and legalize the millions of undocumented immigrants who have carried out the daily labor of our country in the shadows for decades now. And we need to fund the agency, your agency, that makes the legal system work. Making the immigration system work will not only decrease pressure on the border, but it'll help America to meet its labor needs, unite families, and keep critical tax revenue flowing to boost our economy, as well as programs like Social Security and Medicare. Just think, undocumented immigrants paid $26 billion into Social Security in 2022, a program that they are not even eligible to receive benefits for. Director Jaddou, you and your team have spent 4 years rebuilding an agency left in shambles by the Trump administration. Despite still largely being a fee-funded agency, USCIS is on sound fiscal footing now and adjudicating more applications than ever before. Over the last 2 years, the agency has naturalized nearly 1.9 million people, has worked to fully vet and admit the most refugees in 30 years, all while dealing with increased strain and workload on its humanitarian portfolio. But without congressionally appropriated funding, the agency is often forced to rob Peter to pay Paul. When resources are shifted to focus on processing green cards or humanitarian applications, other areas suffer. And we've seen that with long wait times to process waivers vital to keeping families together, and consistent delays in the adjudications of work authorization and temporary protected status applications. Stephen Miller and Donald Trump have threatened mass deportations and a complete crackdown on legal immigration. Elon Musk, recognizing his own journey from undocumented immigrant to documented immigrant, has at least recognized that, quote, super talented immigrants deserve additional legal pathways. While he's probably only thinking of himself and the tech sector, the reality is that we have super talented immigrants in every sector of our economy, and they deserve the same respect from a legal immigration system that recognizes their contributions. Thank you, Director, for coming today, but most important, for your tireless dedication to ensuring that America continues to be a nation that values and respects the contributions of immigrants. I yield back.
Without objection, all other opening statements will be included in the record, and we'll now introduce